Welcome back, guys, to another exciting episode of Be Different podcast, and we are so excited to be here with another episode. We do not take it for granted. You need to join our community, guys. Take a moment to subscribe and call all your friends. Tell them about the Be Different KE podcast. And it's actually, is it October? Yes, we are in the month of mental health. 10th October is actually the exact day that World Mental Health is commemorated around the world. So across board organizations, entities have been commemorating World Mental Health Day in different ways. So yes, here at Be Different Podcast, we want to talk about a little bit about mental health, our different journeys, and how we see it so far, so like how we perceive it so far, the levels to which we have accepted the issue of mental health, how we are taking care of ourselves, and so on and so forth. And with me is our guest. Yes. Welcome, Ed, to the Be Different podcast. Please tell our audience more about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Eddy Taka. I currently study at the University of Nairobi. I'm doing journalism. I'm almost finishing. Now in my last semester.
All right.
I also love the Lord. I'm a staunch Christian, and I recently got the chance to be an author. So I'm an author at my small age, so I'm happy about it, and I'm glad that you invited me, and I'm grateful. Yeah.
Yes. Now, actually, the reason why we had Ed here, I'm about to call you author here, Ed here on the show is because he's written a book pretty recently. Let's see it. Yeah. You guys know how much I love reading. So there's the book is called Fearing Not. So we're going to talk about where the two meet, where everything meets from Taka's perspective, because he's written a book on awakening the soul's resilience. So it's about mental health, he says, but it's completely based on Christian values and the Bible.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, we can maybe dive right into it, Ed. Yeah. So, how did it all start? Did you just wake up and say, you know what, guys, I'm going to write a book?
No. So, my process for writing this book is actually a miracle in itself. I was challenged by my pastor. So my pastor runs a program, a leadership program. And I was challenged by the end of the program, each student has to have authored a book. Okay. So that is how I came to write this book. Why I chose the topic is because it's from personal experience. I usually had crazy episodes of anxiety, fear, just fear of the unknown and fear of people. So it's more of also social anxiety. And yeah, I've experienced depression in my life, especially after my dad passed away in 2021. And yeah, it's been a journey. I'm glad that this book is out. Even the fact that it's out is a miracle, because my anxiety would normally tell me that is it good enough, or is it worthy to be, or can you even author a book? So I'm glad. And yeah, my book, it's as you said, it's approaching mental health from the spiritual side. By merging mental health and our faith in God, because everything is spiritual. It is spiritual. That is something I have realized. So yeah, that's what my book is about. And yeah.
So let's take a step back. When you were going through the mental health challenges, were you already a University of Nairobi student?
Yes. Okay, no. It started before, but it grew as I interacted with people more. So I like social anxiety. How it works is you usually have preconceived notions or judge people earlier than while not even interacting with them. So I'd approach someone, I'd want to go to someone, but I'd be like, does he or she even want to talk to me? What do I have to tell them? Am I worthy of being in certain spaces? So that's how it became. And yeah, depression is recently 2021 because it's the first close death in my family that I've experienced. So it brought me down a bit. So yeah, that's my experience. Was when I was in high school, probably starting from 2010 onwards, but now depression from 2021. But at least now I've recovered. Yeah.
Before I jump to my next question, maybe I can ask, did you end up making a few friends, a few people that you can say, okay, I made 1 or 2 friends?
Yeah, in my journey.
I'm talking about now your campus life.
Yeah.
Of course, going through anxiety, social anxiety and all that. But there's a time you can say you actually made 1 or 2 friends.
Yes.
My question is going to be, is actually, have you ever heard of any other person with experiences such as those ones during your campus life?
Yeah, I've heard of. So it's so weird that when you're experiencing these things, you also get to meet people who are experiencing the same.
Right.
So I have a couple of friends who have experienced the same. I have one brother who has experienced literal depression to the point of almost committing suicide. So it's something that I can say has gravitated around me. And yeah, I know a couple of people.
We actually witnessed young people going through
this. I have witnessed with my own eyes. Yeah.
And do you guys talk to each other? Do you open up?
Yes.
Do you say, I'm going through ABC?
So I also figured that it's usually easier to, I don't know, there's a way you find comfort in people who are, you're the same. So I was more open to people who are experiencing the same thing other than people outside who are not
vulnerable with you.
Yes.
Yet. Let's not say they had not.
Yes.
It's maybe just because they had not been vulnerable with you yet, so you never knew what they were going through.
Yeah.
Okay. So now my next question would be, and is Christianity was it the first solution that you met? Because now you talked about your pastor challenged you to write the book, and it was also based on what your experiences.
Yeah. So for me, I've been brought up in a Christian community. Most of my friends are people we serve together in church. So yes, my first place where I found solace and comfort was in biblical teachings and people at church. So that was because most of them I gravitated towards people who we serve together, speak deeply about these things, and even my pastors, and also finding comfort in the Bible.
It's interesting, and the reason why I'm asking you this, don't think that I've been in your shoes. I've been in deep, spiritual, complete deep in it. And I never for once thought that it would be possible to be depressed when you like that spiritual.
Yeah.
If we talk about that, because you're like, say you're praying and you're doing all this and you're putting all your burdens on the cross. And
that's true. But it is also a myth where people who are staunch believers in Christ pray every day won't have any issues. The thing I got to learn in this journey, this short, long journey of mine, was that first of all, people blame God for suffering being on earth. We blame God.
I mean,
when you look at even how secular life works, when you make choices, when you make decisions, you have to be ready for the consequences. This thing that we have now, the issues we have now, are fruit of the fall. The fall from that Adam and Eve, the fall of mankind, and
so
it's unfortunately because of that, the fall. So first of all, this Christian life is not supposed to be easy, because just based on the fact that I am a Christian, with all the beliefs in the world, I know that it will be hard for me to fit in. I know that I will have issues from people. Let's live life right for at the moment. But from people, I know that I'll get tribulations from there. People judging me, people trying to like change me or rather criticize me because of what I believe in. And
I want us to bring the connection between being spiritual and being depressed. Like how you realize you are one and the same person and going through these two things. Because you said it's a myth. So
it is a myth because there's characters in the Bible who've gone through stuff, and those stories are there for a reason. Not there to tell us, oh, Christianity, this is what God does to you. It's there for encouragement because you can see the end goal. God doesn't leave a story midway. This guy is suffering. Alafu, the story ends there. There's always a salvation story. There's always a redemption story. So there's always a change.
So if the people in the Bible who are, of course, spiritual, then they're also depressed. Then there's some of the solutions. What are some of the solutions that they had? Number one, out of it. And then number two, is that your same story? Like, is that where, you whatever's going?
Yes. First there's I'd like to point out at the importance of community, being in a community, talking to people. This doesn't involve being whether you're Muslim or talking to someone is always helpful. That is one way in which they coped, and I still believe it works now. No man was created to be alone. No man is an island. That's what they say. So first there's importance, or rather there's value in having a tight group of people. So right there's one solution, which people usually normally don't, because when you have anxiety, you tend to close even depression. But it's just realizing that you're here for a reason. I'm not the only person on earth. You're here for a reason. There are people who've suffered and recovered. Why not try and look for people like that? Why not try and find people who comfort you, who build you up? So that's one solution. The other solution, and what is in my book, is realizing that trials and tribulations will always come. Just the realization. Because now you're not being sold a dream. It happens, issues happen, this is how the world is. And we can see by how it is going, it's gradually getting worse. So issues will, just because of the diversity of people, the diversity of stuff we encounter, issues will always be there. So I think probably it ties to also being aware of what is happening, because it's not, this life isn't supposed to be easy. I believe first in the power of community, and I believe in the power of self-awareness, and also being aware of what is happening around you. So not thinking that why am I in this pit? Why am I? It wasn't meant to be like this. Probably it was. And you can recover. There's power, there's prayer. What I speak on is prayer. Also just surrendering, knowing that, approaching it now from the Christian side, knowing that God is in control.
You see, why I wanted you to draw for me the solutions that have been drawn same in the Bible and some of that you did practically, was because you've mentioned the issue of having a community of people. So talking, opening up, self-awareness, and accepting the reality of life that, challenges will always be there. So what did I want to ask? I wanted to ask, you mentioned the issue of therapy before, and you've also mentioned the issue of prayer. So I want to take you back a little bit in terms of it's not like, we've prayed, we've finished, we've prayed, we've brought all our problems here. Where is the space of therapy in a
Christian life,
a young Christian man like you?
It's always important to have, for me, it's always important that I have my moment with God.
All right.
First, before a moment with someone else. But it is also important for people to realize that people have different skills. People are professionals in different spaces. They are there for a reason. Like we still go to doctors. So why not go to a therapist? There's someone who has studied it, knows the history, knows the science part of it. It helps to talk to people who are not just your peers, because peers and now professional people, those are different types of people. So it's always important to, there's power in prayer, and there's also power in speaking to a therapist because of the skills they have. The skills they have are there for a reason. So yeah, utilize them.
When did you come around to this realization or to this knowledge?
Realization, first when my dad passed, I went through a month's worth of therapy. Instantly. I didn't grieve immediately. I was those late grievers. So it's just realizing that for her to tell me it's okay to cry. It's you, because I was bottling up emotions, trying to be like strong because that's what I've been told. So someone like that telling me that it's a simple statement, yes, but she knew when to tell me the statement and she knew what to tell me. So going through that period has changed how I view therapy. And I also know that for a fact that I'm now in a better space because of God, because of prayer, because of accepting the realities of life and surrendering my desires to Him.
I want to ask a little bit more questions on your experience around that time, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's a...
Were you still saved? Were you still in church by the time your dad was passing?
I was lukewarm. I was going to church but not living Christian life. Probably I was half of, probably not lukewarm, because that's half. 3/4 of the world and the quarter is for church.
Maybe a question. Have you ever wondered why were you not grieving or mourning or crying like immediately? Why did you tell yourself it's okay? It's life. Why did you? It sounds like you consoled yourself for some time. And then
it probably, what I can say, what I know is that shock in experiencing, like it was my first time. I didn't know how to react. I felt like inside within me, I felt sad. But I probably wasn't creating much time for myself. I was consoling, funnily enough, I was consoling my mom, I was consoling my siblings, but not actually spending time with myself to like ask myself, Ed, do you actually believe that what happened? And how do you feel about it? And that's when, once we started therapy, I realized that I was trying to bottle it up, probably because half and half, because I was shocked and also wanting to be like the strong person who's there. I'll cry later. Probably I'll cry when you're not seeing me. But now let me try and console you guys.
And are you the firstborn? Are you the first sibling?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm the fourth born.
Alright.
No, I'm the fifth born of 7 siblings. I'm number 5.
Among the boys?
Among the boys, I'm the second.
Alright.
So we are 3 boys. I'm the second.
So okay. There's something I wanted to ask you. Who introduced you to therapy? Like first, what were the symptoms? What led to you actually having a therapist? And you had that experience.
So from that first time,
like who introduced you? Who paid? Are you the one who paid?
No, it was my mom.
Who did research? Where is a therapist? Who said, Ed, you need therapy?
Yeah, it was my mom. Probably she got a recommendation from our pastor.
Oh, nice.
So our pastor is the one who recommended her that the therapist. She came and spoke to us about it. I was against therapy because I felt like some of the stuff they're saying, they're just saying. First, they're getting paid.
Yeah, like
First,
what?
They're getting paid. I feel like they're just saying, they're saying stuff to just say it. So I feel like when I went through the process, I went into therapy with that mentality.
Yeah, because of course I want to hear your first.
First session. First session, of course. Now it was. She told me to go back home and write what I loved about my dad. Aww. So I just wrote, went back, spoke to me. it's weird. She even realized that I was not experiencing, like, I was not grieving like the others. It's like she was thinking like I had probably, I was shocked because I had spoken to her about it, but it's like she felt like I had resolved the issue, like I had accepted, which is true. When we got the news, when we went there when I saw my dad there, I accepted it. Because even before that, the call you receive from they don't want to tell you what happened, they just tell you to go there. So already, from even the previous day seeing him, I just felt in my spirit that he was going to pass. So probably I had accepted.
Okay, the next question. Did you feel like the statements she was using the first day was like what you suspected? Was it like exactly what you suspected?
No, not exactly.
Yeah.
But it was in the realms of what I expected a therapist to say on the first day.
You were busy rolling your mind's
Yeah, I
eyes.
was like, it's like, I'm like, I do want to be there. So, yeah, I do want to be there. So I entered there like, okay, like, I know, first of all, I know you're getting paid. I know you will tell me some comforting words. I know you'll try to enter into my mind. So I had those notions.
Your guards were up.
So I knew. So the first session, I was a bit disconnected.
Yeah.
But it's now, while I started going for multiple sessions, is when at first I understood where she was coming from. So it's like I'm trying to analyze her also. I'm understanding. But then when she just mentioned how she thought why I wasn't acting normally, like why didn't I cry the first day, like when you were told the news, like when she said that probably it's because of the reasons I stated, it's now like something clicked in me, and I became more attentive to what she was saying. Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to ask when there was a turnaround.
Turnaround in
that, like you've mentioned it, like after she told you something. I wanted to ask, was she using Bible verses? Was she Christian based, or she was just using professional skills, because they say they empower you? Did you feel like she was just giving you the skills, the tools?
So it helped that she was Christian, but I think what I realized about therapists, they will try and reach you at your point. So she knew we had a Christian background. So the fact that she was Christian also helped in that. So no, she didn't use biblical verses. She didn't use biblical verses. But of course we mentioned spirituality, we mentioned God. But not that majority of it
not
was
you
just
go and read Daniel chapter 3.
Go and read what Job experienced. No, she didn't. She just used what she had learned from her years of experience, and that's how she dealt with us.
Have you ever felt like you're treated differently because of that experience? Have you ever told your friends, I've been to therapy, I've done this and this, and it really helped me, and you guys should see a therapist, and they looked at you funny? That
I've been to therapy?
Yeah.
First, I've been treated differently by the fact that I've had depression. So telling some of my former friends, they are not my former friends, that of course, people are usually consoling when you go through that period of grief. Of course, people, humans are, So when I started speaking about the depression, first of all, I felt it was embarrassing to speak about.
People asking you like, when were you going through depression?
To speak about it, especially while now, not even depression, even anxiety. Even mentioning that I'm scared to do this, I felt like I had to do it by force, or they'll like judge me, or those pressures. But I've experienced that from my friends. I experienced that from
your peers. Maybe let's call them your peers.
My peers. I experienced that from someone who's probably in their 40s, because of the issue of depression, thinking that he was just telling me that he was just questioning yes.
Or
he was just asking like, what is depression for you? Like, you're a man. Like, go out there and find people. And that's usually what people like think depressed people want to hear. Like, go out there and it's hard
like
as
someone's telling you man up.
Yes.
Go and see what the challenges that other men are facing in this town. For
yeah.
You to say
It's like
goodness.
it's like pushing you to do something because he thinks that's what I'm not doing. That's why I'm in this state. So I'm like, first of all, even going out there is hard because I have anxiety. So at least try and help me a bit. So I've experienced that. It's stigmatization because of
it's still there and trivializing the issues. Like, what?
Yeah.
Are you the first one? Like, can you snap out of it? You know, like I've seen that.
Yes, it happens.
Sadly enough, we've been even part on the other side of the society where we're like, actually, that boy is going through what? Huyo kijana ache mchezo. Ende afanyiwe mentorship from our fathers who just need, you know. So something like that. So it's very important that you're sharing your experience. And as to whether your peers have acted funny when you say you've been to therapy or when you encourage them to seek therapy. Yeah,
actually, I don't think I told my peers that I was in therapy.
Never. No, even after. Have you, Kwanza, is it like a continuing process?
No, people, no, it's not, it ended. No, people don't know that I went to the,
so this is the first. Oh my goodness, you had it first on the Be Different podcast.
People don't know that I went, I experienced that and went through that period. So no, this is the first time saying it in public. Yeah.
But how much was it of help?
Of help. It was of help. As I started realizing it while we were finishing therapy, because first of all, it's the fact that you have someone to say your issue. Someone who she won't go and tell other people. Of course, now you don't know, probably she'll tell her husband, but therapy is usually for there in that room. And of course, now you have to trust them. So I just finding comfort in having someone whom I can speak to. Someone who is a professional and knows like the science part of it, the spiritual. She's a Christian now. She also knows the spiritual part of it. So it was It helped me. As much as I didn't tell my peers, I found comfort in also experiencing it with my siblings because like we console each other, we encourage each other, and also her being the outside party looking in, and also from my pastors. But for the therapist, she helped me a lot. And I sit here and stand everywhere just by sheer fact that she kickstarted something in me that helped me a lot.
So would you encourage your peers to
Yes,
go for therapy?
That's what I encourage. I encourage everyone to go through therapy, because it's just realizing that there are professionals for specific things. They're not there for no reason. They are there because of their track record, their experience, what they studied. They have a vast knowledge on such issues.
It's interesting that you say that. The last time I had a conversation with young people, or rather your peers like you, and it was actually on mental health. At the time, it was even a challenge to I felt like first it was a challenge for them to actually voice that they're going through ABC. Then secondly, at some point it has evolved to you're in a toxic relationship. I'm also in a toxic. It's like we are comparing. It's like who is in a more toxic environment,
like
or in a more
celebrating.
Toxic. Exactly. What's your problem? Me, mine is like it's like we're exchanging notes and they're like, wewe yako ni kidogo. Mine is like this ABC, and it's like we are all sick. It's just like we are all sick, and we are all taking on a lot. We are all taking on too much, and it's very hard to get to that place where you got to, to actually acknowledge that, what, I need therapy, or to get to that room and go through the whole process, because it's not easy.
Yeah, that's true. I actually, when you said that, I just remember I even quoted someone. I quoted another author, another preacher called Jackie Perry, where she said, people have this tendency to over idolize their ability to produce. So it's like you're in that hole. So you're putting everything on yourself to get yourself out of that hole, not realizing that there's a whole community around you. There is God you can pray to. There's a therapist you can go. There's people who are supposed to help you there. So I think it's overconfidence on yourself. So it's like you're disappointed. First, you're disappointed that you're in that state. And also it's like you're putting so much pressure on yourself to get yourself out, which as human beings, it's hard to do. Yeah.
But having said all that, for the people who are in the spiritual status, and they may say, yes, I do have a community of people around me, but this is how my community reacts. So when I go and tell them, oh, this and this is happening and what have you, and they're like, sister, in the book of in the book of Matthew chapter what, it says, so usiwache kuomba, sawa. So
yeah.
Because I've been in those spaces.
Yes.
And that's why I was asking you, is it possible to be that spiritual and to still be depressed?
For that,
because there's a Bible verse for everything.
Yes. Yes, there's a Bible verse for everything. But for that instance where that's how people are reacting.
Yeah.
First, the people, I don't know, they underestimate the power of how they communicate to other people. So there's a way you can say something that will throw me off. That's why now, next time I won't even come to you to ask about this or to talk about this. So it's on us, because it's how we treat others. It's on us to try and work on how, like, I won't just go to some random person and just say, are you saved? No, you're not. It will be saved or else you'll go to hell. Like, I won't do that. You try and have a relationship. There is power in having a relationship first. And which people underestimate. So entering into conversations, like in that instance where you go to someone thinking they'll help you. For that person now, I'd like to say, like, entering into a conversation from a point where I care about you, I care about how you feel, like I love you. Entering from that point will help. Even, you don't even need to say anything. For them to see that you're actually embracing them and hearing them out will play such a big part in how they themselves will cope and recover in their journey to recovering, or in their journey to having mental wellness. So it's about how you communicate, and your relationships with others. For that, in that instance, I'd say it's not helpful to go to people who are bashing you with the scriptures. Like, it's like, I'm like,
but they're your community. At that point, by the time I'm telling, someone like me, I'm sharing with them the experience that I'm going through. They are my community. At that time, they are my people.
Yeah.
They are my community. But some of them, in fact, the closest people are the ones who make you feel, how dare you even?
Yeah.
Like, how dare you even think that, feel that, or go through that? Do you wake up every day?
Don't you think that's toxic?
It is, but then do we realize that in our church?
We do not realize it.
Exactly.
And if you go somewhere where they're treating you that way, and you end up feeling worse than you actually feel, get out. There's no need to remain in toxic ninis like that, because you're not even being helped. You're not even improving. So there's room to get out.
Of fasting 5 days. Read your Bible every day.
You won't be experiencing this problem if you read the Bible.
That's your dosage, exactly. Are you reading your Bible enough? Are you praying? Anyway, I'm joking, but it's very serious.
It happens.
Thank you for coming and for just opening up, because it's very powerful that you're a young man in this generation who's talking about mixing these three things together. The fact that you actually went to therapy, the fact that you have your Christian values, your Christian tenets that you follow and that you believe in, and that you're sharing them out and you're saying, I'm not afraid, I did ABC.
Yeah.
In school, in campus, we have resources, we have counselors. Just a random one. Have you ever thought of seeking either help, or any of your friends? Have you ever had them mentioning they're seeking? Because outside you pay, it's expensive. And maybe most people are shy from therapy because of the expenses. But now in school, it's there, it's free, it's what? Comment about it.
For me, I'm fortunate enough to, because that time when my dad passed, it was during COVID. So I wasn't on campus. So I'm fortunate enough that with that session and with me realizing my purpose, like leaving it all to God, now I'm okay. So I haven't interacted with the ones in campus, but I've heard of people who have. And I'd encourage, I will always encourage therapy. It's good to speak to people who are professionally trained in whatever it is you're going through. So,
And I really like the fact that you mentioned the issue of trust.
Maybe
the complaints I've had around is, I go to a staff who will see me tomorrow. Like, they feel like if they're talking to someone, it's someone who they cannot even meet in the corridors of anywhere. So maybe that's the other thing that's stopping some of,
lack of trust.
So lack of trust. And you've mentioned also self-awareness. That was big for me when you said it. And I just wondered how many young people are aware of what they're going through.
So I think most people are struggling with denial. So it's the way you can see your life taking a downward spiral, and it's like you actually can't believe it, and you think you have everything.
I got it.
You think you have everything in control. So it's denial. Denial kills a lot of young people, a lot of people also in general, because even someone who is in their 40s going to their 50s, it's like you actually can't believe like you're that age and depressed.
Exactly. I'm reading a very interesting book right now. In this month, I read a book every month. We are reading a book called Confessions of a 40-something F up. Because the lady is now a 40
and she realized,
I have zero figured out. I have zero. Like they say 40 is the start, but I do not have that, that house, that family, that job. Like she had to start from scratch at, and it's interesting that you're saying we are in denial and we always, it's just like, it's just the next time. But it's just the
next time you'll find your way.
And we just go and go and go, and we use various ways to escape, the ways that we use to escape. Even spirituality has been used as an escape mechanism of our reality. It's one of them. Of course, substance abuse, alcohol, going out, TikTok, some of
literally everything, anything can be used as an escape method.
Social media. Like we are just like running away from our realities and just putting them down. And it's basically, like you're saying, a conversation with someone you trust. Okay, of course, a professional. And having, laying down and having that community of people that you can trust.
That's true. Community, I'll always recommend therapy, God, and community. Those two things, they will help you, because you just realize that there are other people around you. There's someone who created you, someone who is above everything, that like are there just waiting for you.
And I actually feel like we need to have, like therapy, it's not just for a season.
Because
I'm here, I'm working, I have a job, or whatever, I have a family, but I still need that therapy. It's not like something is missing or something has happened, like in my immediate past, and so I feel like I still need the therapy, because just living in Kenya, goodness. Just
many
let's not
issues,
talk
yeah.
about even
True.
our country. And I feel like we've been absorbing so much, and we just walk with, and I say this, Kenyans on Twitter are a depressed lot.
Yeah. Okay.
We are a
Yeah,
depressed
true.
lot because we make jokes. Something has happened in the country.
And you immediately joking about it. Yeah.
Immediately.
Instantly.
The
Yeah.
memes, the what, I'm like, gosh, as in, it's too soon.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like that's also our escape mechanism.
Yes.
We're just like, yeah, let's go make jokes about it. Let's make memes about it.
And also making jokes is also evil. The way you're saying it, it's like you're also denying it. You're actually like, imefanyika, let me first joke, then it's like you're waiting to be hit afterwards.
And you see one person has started a thread, and then all the others are just coming and yeah, you're right. So generally what we're saying is mental health is very, very important. And this being actually the theme for this mental health day is mental health is a human right.
Yeah.
So you may be there, you may be as young as Kwanza, let me just start from African moms and their homes. When their children start telling them ati what? When you start closing yourselves in your rooms, as in there's always that pushback. It's like we're never ready, even as parents, to have our kids going through some, So it starts from there. And then we go on wounding each other, wounds. We reach some point, the family becomes, what is it called? When everyone goes their separate ways.
Scattered, it's broken now.
Like dysfunctional.
Yeah.
No, it becomes dysfunctional. And then at the end of the day, it's a whole cycle. Right? So mental health is a human right. I believe we should start therapy, enroll for therapy as soon as we can, and keep on at it to get the tools, like you said, to be empowered, to go through the different challenges that are always coming.
They will always come.
Tribulations. Ed called them tribulations and challenges. Yeah. Like they will always be there and they're always coming. But as you're accepting them, you need to have the tools to know how to navigate.
Yes, to know how to cope with it. Yeah, I agree. And I also recommend God. Try and find.
I keep missing that point.
I want to try and find. It's always good.
It is very important.
It's always good to have someone who is above even whom you talk to.
Yeah.
Because then you start realizing stuff happening. Yeah. Other than suffering alone. Go to God, go to people, go for therapy. Yeah. It's usually nice to have that trinity there.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about how you're told to do deliverance if you have
a
mental health issue. Like some churches will recommend, uyo ni wa deliverance immediately.
So those churches, I can't speak for them.
There's this picture that has just been painted. That's why
there's the picture of churches how painted.
Like if you're saved and you're spiritual, you could have issues fulani hapa.
And that's not even biblically true. So in which people usually take them as truth because of their lack of knowledge of what is the actual truth.
But it's because also, at the end of the day, you see, the spiritual tenets, the Christian values have been painted for us as 100% solutions to all our problems. And I'm saying that because I've been there. And so, yes, it's not a bad thing, but I'm just asking for that space. Are they allowing of, people who are developing to even be self-aware? Let me give you my own examples. Yeah. I was struggling with being aware of myself or fully expressing myself because I realized I had totally suppressed Nekesa. Because Holy Spirit panda mimi need die. Me, I die every day, but now God come and take over and blah blah blah. So every time you want to feel something, you're like crucify self. Actually, there's that crucifixion of self and
allowing God to take over.
Take over and to do what and to do what. So I really struggled with getting to that place where I actually acknowledge that I'm like this and like this. Because I had I feel like my experience of it was like I was bottling all these things up and putting aside. So umeamka ukaomba, umeweka kando. So umeamka ukaomba, nikaeka hiyo ingine kando. Nikaamka nikaomba, nikaeka hiyo. So there was no time of thinking about myself. I'm just like, oh God, be praised the whole day, praising and worshiping and what. There's no time to think about me. And me, I'm depressed. At what time? Me have problems. No, see, I left them at the cross in the morning. So I struggled with getting to that place where I was like, where I came around and said, okay, so next you have challenges. What are your challenges? Can you actually say them? I had closed myself up for so long. I was not able to express myself. Even in a group of friends. I think they used to even think I'm fake. Because I was like, when it's my turn, I'm just like, you guys read the Bible and pray. And it's not Kobaya. It's just that I was there. That was me then. 100% believe and 100% living it. You know, I'm just need the Holy Spirit to tunaongea naye tukitembea. Not bad. But I'm just saying that was how I interacted with, you know, in that space. And I had a challenge of finding my balance.
So I know that happens. I know that usually happens so many times. But what I can say to that is I feel like in spaces like those, as I said earlier, relationship is key. Do you feel like they're treating you like family? Do you feel like they're hearing you out? Because it's not meant for it, because it's where you're supposed to be vulnerable. It's coming to God is where you're supposed to be vulnerable. So if his people are not accepting you or even listening to you, because the thing is accepting you, but you also accept to change. It's not that you just want them to accept you, but still you remain in that space.
With that change, and you've been there for 5 years. So you've changed. So we look at you differently. Then one day we are calling you something, some leader for something. Then one day you're like, hey, wait, stop. I got here. How did I get here? You want to stop and look back maybe on your 5 years, on your 4 years. Like you want to go back and, you know. But at that point, who is allowing of you to do that? You see, sometimes unaweza kuja uambie mtu Elder Ed has told me something. Yani, I'm just saying the way we sometimes forget that these people are human also.
Yes, exactly. We are all humans. First of all, we will fall. We will keep on doing stuff that is against the law. We will continue doing this. It's just how you recover. It's what matters. The people around you, I feel like it's so sad how the church has been painted nowadays, because God. That is me. I'm here to say that is not how it is. That people do that. People. That is not how it is. Because me, I'm like, that's oppression. Like you feel like even your talents, you feel like you can't do anything. That's not how it's supposed to be. And that's another thing. It's been painted so badly and there's so many of these churches that now when outside people look into, it's these are how all churches are. This is how they oppress. They just oppress people. They don't. And I'm like, you're not you. Which church are you going to? But yeah, I've also experienced the same. But it's just being. I feel like there's power in try and ask God to show you to show you something about certain, and try for him to tell you, to make you feel, if you don't feel this is right, because you're telling me now what you experience, and me, I'm like, that's not right. First, it's supposed to be an embracing culture. So I usually recommend it because it has worked for me, and I do realize that so many people who claim to be pastors have misled so many. I do realize that that's the picture that's painted about the church. But I would recommend, because that picture is a false photo of how the church is. Where
are we buying your book, Ed?
My book.
If we are buying, congratulations, by the way.
Thank
It's
you.
not easy being an author. I love
Thank
books
you.
and I love reading, so I know it's not easy just coming up with your own something. Guys, this book is very textury. Like,
Thank
this
you.
is not the usual
We
font.
try.
It's called Fearing Not, Awakening the
Awakening
Soul's Resilience. So
Yeah.
are people buying your book? Where can they get it from?
I still have physical copies, but the launch is on the 18th of November. I'm launching it at my church, Mavuno Church Hill City in Athi River. It's not yet online. I'm still working on that, but you can get my email, get my number, call me, then I'll deliver. It's 2,000 Kenyan shillings.
Oh, wow.
Only.
Oh, wow.
Only.
This book is 2,000 bob, guys. Support Ed, a local young author. How do you feel?
It feels great. Yeah, I feel relieved that it's out there.
Question though, maybe just your experience when you were writing, did you feel like the pressure, to quote, did you feel like you were talking from any experts? Or were you just, you read through other people's works, you picked some things that were relating to what you were going to talk about, and then maybe the Bible, of course.
It was tough because I was also having school. So while writing my assignments, I'm also writing my book. But I had to do lots of research. Lots of research from speakers. I had to listen to a lot of podcasts. And because I can't just come with my own experience. First of all, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a psychologist. I can't say I'm a speaker, but I had to research. It was tough. It took so many sleepless nights. I cried when even writing and going through what I wrote.
Oh, wow.
But it took me about 5 months. About 5 months to have it complete. So it was tough, but I'm glad God took me through it. Encouragement from my people to finish it also helped, and it was hard, but at least now I can see it's bearing fruits.
That's nice.
Thank you. It feels nice. Thank you.
It must feel nice. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Do you have a parting shot before we close?
My parting shot is I will still end by recommending that people struggling, because I'm speaking from personal experience. If you're struggling, just seek help. There is no value in being an island. People are here you'll be shocked by the amount of people who are willing to listen and even help. Of course, there are people who will discourage, but don't make those people who are discouraging you, don't make them make you not go to other people. Just go out there and tell people how you feel, speak to people. That will always help. And seek the Lord. It will help. It has helped me, and I am an author because of that. And that's all I have to say.
You heard it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being with us. Please take care of your mental health. It is your right. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.